In this edition of RPPV News, a Mornington MP steps into the Metro versus Regional debate, a touch of Bondi at Portsea, and Park is back in action. Hello, I'm Catie Sharp. Welcome to the latest edition of RPPV News, bringing you stories from across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula. Transit Crime Investigation Unit detectives are asking for public help after a man was assaulted on a train between Frankston and Cannonock railway stations in March. Police have been told the victim boarded the city-bound train at Frankston on Sunday the 28th of March. At about 1:50am, in what was described as an unprovoked attack, the 51-year-old victim was approached and assaulted by another commuter. The victim got off the train at Cannonock and was treated in hospital for serious facial injuries. Investigators have released images and footage of a man who may be able to assist with their inquiries. He is white, in his early 20s, with short brown hair and was wearing a white and black hoodie, grey pants and white shoes. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. This most recent lockdown has reignited the issue of whether the Mornington Peninsula should be categorised as regional or remain part of metropolitan Melbourne. RPPFM's Josh Farrell spoke to a member for Mornington, David Morris, who has strong views on the debate.
I think it'd be a great idea considering that we're, an hour and a half away from central Melbourne. It's not really the same area.
Quite ridiculous that Geelong is regional and we're about the same distance from Melbourne.
The COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated to the Mornington Peninsula the drawbacks to being a part of Metro Melbourne. Whilst regional centres such as Geelong and Ballarat began to open earlier, the peninsula remained in lockdown. This has prompted calls from community leaders for the region to no longer be a part of Metro Melbourne. One of the loudest voices on this issue has been State MP for Mornington, David Morris, who has spoken about this issue 5 times in Parliament.
Those of us who've had concerns about various aspects of our status for a while, of course, are aware of the issue. But the reality is probably 99% of the population on the peninsula just felt we're regional, and that was the end of it. So until we had the lockdowns and until we got dragged into the Melbourne metropolitan area for the purposes of lockdown, it just didn't register. As anyone who's ordered a parcel knows damn well, we pay for the privilege of living in this great place. But in fact, I think it's only early in the 2000s that for planning purposes we got lumped into the metropolitan area.
The Green Wedge represents the land in the centre of the peninsula which is deemed a national park, along with Point Nepean. This land is protected from development to ensure the region maintains its beauty, agriculture and recreation. There has been some concerns raised that changing the Mornington Peninsula to regional could have a detrimental effect on the Green Wedge. Mr Morris disagrees.
Are two completely different things, and the reality is it would take a resolution of both houses of Parliament to move the urban growth boundary. So if one agrees and one doesn't, it doesn't move. It needs a clear passage from both. But in terms of the protections that are contained in the Green Wedge provisions and so on, that's a matter for the Minister for Planning of today, and it's one signature. So it's that simple.
Mr Morris says that if removing the Mornington Peninsula from Metro Melbourne would cause the Green Wedge plan to be voided, then a simple amendment should provide correct protections to ensure development does not occur. David Morris holds concerns that if the region remains a part of Metro Melbourne, it will be threatened by developments that do not blend with the rest of the towns.
For a very long time, people would look at an application in Main Street and consider it the same. People being VCAT members would look at an application and they wouldn't draw any distinction between Main Street Mornington and Chapel Street Paran or Church Street Richmond or whatever. And of course it's a totally different environment. And it's becoming development's more intense, but we want to manage it. We want to maintain the character of our towns. So it's from a planning perspective, it's really been a big threat.
To remove the Mornington Peninsula from Metro Melbourne is no easy task. No other state in Australia has done something similar, and Melbourne has never done this before. The region will be treading on new ground if it proceeds with its desire to become regional. Josh Farrell, RPPFM.
Due to lockdown restrictions across the country, NAIDOC Week celebrations have been postponed. Originally planned for this coming week, the NAIDOC Awards and Pride Showcase will take place in October, along with the NAIDOC March and Gala Ball. The official dates for these events will be advised as soon as they are confirmed. The flag raising event, which marks the beginning of NAIDOC Week, will still go ahead via livestream on Monday the 5th of July. Meanwhile, Willem Moraine Aboriginal Association is celebrating the official opening of the long-awaited community shed. Elder Auntie Janine Armistead cut the ribbon on the new community space, which provides an all-weather facility for cultural programs, community events and cultural immersion tours. The popular tourist town of Portsea no longer has a front beach, despite efforts to save its disappearing sand. Councillor for Nepean Susan Bissinger is proposing a radical idea to bring locals and tourists back to the water. Josh Farrell has the story.
The popular tourist destination of Portsea Front Beach has been slowly eroded, with locals blaming dredging in the bay for the disappearance. The sandbags were installed in 2010 by the Department of Environment, Land, Water and Planning to help prevent further erosion. Local councillor Susan Bissinger has proposed the creation of a sea bath similar to Bondi to help protect the foreshore and bring back locals and tourists to the water.
Direction from DELP, the Department of the Environment, Land, Water and Planning, that they're not going to spend any more money on the Portsea Beach sand replenishment program. And so the only choice we have left really is sandbags or sea baths. And sea baths is such a really exciting opportunity for everyone to enjoy a facility that will be around for generations.
Councillor Bissinger first proposed the idea on her social media, to which she received large amounts of praise from residents.
Building sea baths here would make it the first of their kind on the peninsula. While St Kilda and Brighton have enclosed sea baths, Victoria has none that are similar to what we see in Bondi, New South Wales.
In 2017, the decision was made by the DELWP to install a rock seawall which was heavily opposed by locals. The government organisation said that they had considered high estimated costs and technical uncertainty and potential impacts on other parts of the coast.
What we're trying to do is provide all the functionality of the beach. So you'll have somewhere to go and lay down in the sun, somewhere to sit, somewhere to have a drink, whatever, but without the sand. We already have the ferry service in Sorrento, it's only a few minutes away. And I can envisage buses coming here because obviously parking in any kind of older seaside town is going to be an issue. So buses coming over here to drop people off would be fantastic. And it will just make Portsea feel whole again.
Councillor Bissinger is having plans drawn up this week to take to council in the hopes a decision can be made. Josh Farrell, RPPV News.
Melbourne's 50th most dangerous level crossing is set to be removed by the end of 2021, a year ahead of schedule. And that crossing is expected to be on the Frankston line. In a timeframe of just over 3 months, 5 level crossings will be removed and 3 new stations will be built at Edith Vale, Chelsea and Bonbeach. Those stations will close for around 3 months from Sunday the 25th of July until November. During an initial 1-week rail closure from Sunday the 25th of July until Monday the 2nd of August, buses will replace trains between Mordialloc, Frankston and Stony Point. Trains will then run express through the station for 6 weeks until the new stations open in November. The $3 billion investment in the Frankston line will result in 12 new stations, 18 level crossings removed, and by 2024, a line free of level crossings between Flinders Street and Moorabbin Station. Trains will then run express through the stations for 6 weeks until the new stations open in November. The $3 billion investment in the Frankston line will result in 12 new stations, 18 level crossings removed, and by 2024, a line free of level crossings between Flinders Street and Moorabbin Station. And the Peninsula Aquatic Recreation Centre is back in action post-lockdown. From this week, they have resumed memberships and all services as capacity has moved from 50 for the entire building to 300 people per indoor space. This means no more pre-bookings are needed for gym sessions and recreational swimming is back just in time for school holidays. Swimming lessons have resumed and the sauna and steam are open, as is the cafe and creche. So grab your swimsuit and get your body moving again. And in news just to hand, the Save Reg's Wedge Action Group are celebrating after a VCAT ruling opposed Ryman's development plans for the historic Ansett Estate in Mount Eliza. The decision ends months of campaigning by the group that had grave concerns about the development and its impact on the area and the Green Wedge. In its summary, VCAT stated it had no objections to the New Zealand company using the site as an aged care facility, but had concerns about the level of development. Save Reg's Wedge believe Ryman will now be required to resubmit its plans for the site, which was once owned by Sir Reg Ansett. After the break, we go to Patricia with the coming week's weather report.
Established in 1988, Progress Signs has been servicing the local community for 30 years. Located on the Mornington Peninsula, they are the #1 destination for all your signage needs, specialising in a variety of signage from vehicles to shop fronts, occasional and corporate events, short-term, long-term and everything in between. If it's signs you need, be it large or small, Progress Signs is the place to call. Available 24/7 at progress-signs.com.au or call the team on 5975 9188. Thinking signs? Think Progress Signs, a station sponsor.
There's a quiet revolution happening on the rooftops of Australia. And at Solar Heart, we're proud to be leading the charge. One home, one family, one solar panel at a time, helping smart Aussies make a real difference to the planet, cutting their energy bills and connecting them to their smart energy future. Get smart, get Solar Heart.
RPPV and Bendigo Bank have a long-standing relationship. Without the Bendigo Bank, we wouldn't have a transmitter site, we wouldn't have a studio, we wouldn't have an outside broadcast fan, and without them, we can't tell the stories that we think the Bendigo Bank community, our community, needs to hear.
Thanks, Bendigo Bank.
Thanks for your support.
Hello, it's Patricia here with your RPPV 7-day weather forecast. Today we are coming to you from Blairgowrie, a seaside town on the Mornington Peninsula, approximately 63 kilometers south of Melbourne. Blairgowrie was named after the burgh of Blairgowrie, the largest town in Perth and Kinross, Scotland. Blairgowrie is one of many popular holiday destinations along this narrow peninsula strip. It is bordered on the north by Port Phillip and on the south by Bass Strait and a series of surf beaches interspersed with spectacular cliffs and rocky ledges. It is frequented by tourists in the summer months and has been featured on numerous travel programs. It is also a great place to eat and enjoy a great coffee. Turning to the weather, Saturday the 3rd of July has been a partly cloudy day, which brought a high 80% chance of showers, most likely during this afternoon and evening. Also, there is a chance of thunderstorm during this afternoon and evening, with possible hail. We reached a high of 10 and a low of 3. Sunday the 4th of July brings a very high 95% chance of showers, gusty at times from late morning. Winds northerly 25 to 35 kilometers an hour, turning westerly to 30 to 45 kilometers an hour in the early afternoon, then decreasing to 25 to 35 kilometers an hour in the late morning. We are looking at a low of 3 and a high of 12. Monday sees the rain continuing with a low of 5 and a high of 13. Tuesday will be a partly cloudy day, which will bring some relief from the rain with only a 30% chance of showers. Expect a high of 13 and a low of 5. Wednesday brings another partly cloudy day with only a 20% chance of showers. We will be looking for a high of 13 and a low of 4. Thursday, the 8th of July, will see another partly cloudy day, once again with a high of 13 and a low of 5. And finally, Friday will also be partly cloudy with a 30% chance of rain. Winds northerly 15 to 20 kilometers an hour. Expect a high of 14 and a chilly low of 4. You know, Blairgowrie isn't just about beaches and good food. The pier here is the most popular shore dive site for recreational scuba diving inside Port Phillip. It was built as a safe boat harbor and marina by the Blairgowrie Yacht Squadron. Blairgowrie Pier is highly regarded for the more than 100 different species of nudibranch that have been identified there. And at this time of the year, thousands of spider crabs migrate along the ocean floor to the cool, shallow waters around Blairgowrie Pier. When the water temperature drops, the spider crabs mold their shells. While their new shells harden, they crowd together for protection from predators like stingrays, seals, and sharks, sometimes forming stacks more than a meter high. Well, that's all for now. Until next time, take good care.
And now to Muzz with the Surf Report.
Hey guys, Muzz back with this week's Mornington Peninsula Surf Report. Hopefully you got in the water again. Another couple of days on the beach breaks. Tuesday was quite good if you knew the right places to go. Wednesday and today, Thursday, swell was pretty small, or is pretty small. Looks like there's a change in weather on its way. The swell will start to push up this afternoon, and tomorrow, Friday, should get fairly solid and the wind will head more in that northwest direction. Swell should also keep going a bit bigger on Saturday, and the wind tending a bit more westerly and quite cold conditions with rain, but it should be offshore in Western Port Bay. That'll continue through into Sunday. We should get maybe an onshore day in the mix, which will probably be either Monday or Tuesday, and then the swell will back off a little bit through the week. But last week's school holidays should be able to get in the water 6 days out of 7, which is still pretty good. You know, still no massive, big, long ground swells, which winter in Victoria is renowned for. We've had lots of small swells and lots of north-northeast winds, but can't complain. Probably surfed the beaches myself more in the last 5-6 weeks than I have in the last 3 months, so 4 months. So yeah, so it's pretty good to be able to just keep going surfing. Enjoy, guys. Last week of school holidays for most. You'll get in the water, have fun, and I'll see you next week.
And that's all from our team here at RPPV News, serving the community with stories that matter to you. Keep watching and do tell your friends. Stay safe, use the QR codes and get vaccinated if you can. Bringing you the news from coast to coast across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula, I'm Catie Sharp. See you for the next edition.
Thank you.